One of the best parts about a new Zelda game being released are the fantastic new songs I get to listen to and enjoy for years to come. Tears of the Kingdom is absolutely full of incredible themes and musical moments, and today I want to focus entirely on the soundtrack. The gameplay and story are amazing as well, of course, but all the new music is possibly my favorite part of playing a new Zelda game for the first time. I'll be going over some of my personal picks for the best songs from this game, letting each one play for a bit so you can hear it for yourself. I won't be describing the songs with words very much, as that's really difficult to do, so I'll just let them speak for themselves for the most part. I hope you're in the mood to listen to some music. I'll be talking about both the dungeons and bosses, but I'll save all the really heavy endgame spoilers for the end. Now let's get into appreciating the music of Tears of the Kingdom. One of the first pieces of music you hear in this game is the opening title theme, which is a sort of remixed version of the same song from Breath of the Wild. The first few notes are exactly the same, but then it quickly evolves into a much more epic and sweeping rendition that sounds incredible. And then the music builds up to the title drop itself, which feels so powerful no matter how many times I listen to it. Lookout Landing acts as a sort of home base for your adventures, and I love the laid-back and chill vibes of the music here. It's upbeat and catchy, making it feel like all of Hyrule is coming together to help rebuild and restore the land. I loved coming back here during my playthrough and taking a breather between all the puzzle solving and monster fighting, and the music is a big reason why. And once you get to the end of the game, the song turns into an even more upbeat version that's also great. One of the side quests in the game involves traveling across Hyrule and finding each member of a traveling band to try and get them to all join together again in order to wake all of the great fairies. And once you finally get everyone back together again, the final rendition of the song they play is just gorgeous, with all the different instruments working together perfectly. And as an added bonus, they even play on top of the stable music to add a little extra something to this familiar song. After teaming up with Tulin and climbing to the top of the giant blizzard above the mountain, you launch between flying Viking ships in the sky and soar above the clouds. Once you reach the top and start descending down into the eye of the storm, a super epic track starts playing which makes the whole thing feel even cooler. Arriving at the Wind Temple, I was so happy to find that the progressive dungeon music returned from Breath of the Wild, meaning that it starts out quiet and understated and then builds as you get closer to completing the dungeon. All the dungeon music in this game is great, but the Wind Temple has to be my favorite. I absolutely love the first phase of this song. The lone flute coming in with the piano notes following close behind is just beautiful. And later on in the song, there are small bits of Rivali's theme and various parts of Vametto's music mixed in there. And of course, there's the incredible boss fight against Colgera that has a fantastic new rendition of the Dragon Roost Island and Rito Village theme, which works surprisingly well as battle music and sounds amazing. Each of the sages have their own unique theme, and they're all terrific. Whether it's the new version of the familiar tune for Sidon, or the upbeat and heroic feel of Riju's theme. But out of all the character themes, my favorite has to be Yonobo's, which is just so catchy and inspiring. I never would have guessed his music would be my favorite, as I think he's my least favorite overall from a character standpoint, but man, his theme is just so good. Now let's head over to the Gerudo Desert and cover the terrific boss theme for Queen Gibdo. This song is so full of energy, and it's honestly a strong contender for one of my favorite Zelda boss songs of all time. The battle music is pretty similar to the previous game, but there are a few new sections that are really great. There's also this new intro to the song that plays sometimes that always gets me super excited for the coming battle. Gleeoks are a returning classic Zelda enemy that have never felt so threatening. These giant three-headed dragons are tough to take down, and they have some amazing music as well. Easily the best part is when you finally take out all three heads and the beast goes flying down towards the ground, and the music cheers you on as you head in to deal some big damage. After completing all the 4 main dungeons, I was very surprised to find out that there's a 5th dungeon deep in the depths. But first you have to visit Dragon Head Island, which has one of the most beautiful and atmospheric songs in all of Zelda. The construct factory you assemble the robot in has some incredible music as well, with gorgeous strings that come in that blow me away every time. This music doesn't play for very long, but it's one of the best from the whole game in my opinion, and I keep listening to it on repeat. And since we're in the depths, I have to mention the new version of the Master Koga battle music that starts out the same but quickly turns into something totally new. Hyrule Castle isn't really a full dungeon in this game, but it still has some great music. This version of the theme is slowed down to make it feel even more epic and threatening. The new version of shrines in this game have an amazing atmosphere with subtle and soft music that doesn't get too repetitive, which I really appreciate. And in the Proving Ground shrines, there's some really great battle music that's super catchy and fun to listen to. Before I get into talking about the music of the final sequence, I quickly want to mention the trailer music from the final promotional trailer for the game, which is one of the best Zelda songs ever, and it's crazy they made it just for a trailer. The part where the saxophone comes in is still amazing and will never get old. Alright, now I'm going to get into the final sequence and boss fight for Tears of the Kingdom. So if you haven't beaten the game for yourself yet, this is your last chance to leave before I spoil everything. And it really is worth experiencing for yourself, as it's easily the best part of the game. This whole section begins as you descend towards a giant hole in the ground for the final time, and the music that builds as you get closer to the end is incredibly epic and foreboding, setting the tone for the final challenge that awaits you. While facing the Demon King's army alongside the sages, an extra intense version of the battle music plays that makes this fight so much better. The first phase of the Ganondorf fight is great, but it's the second phase where the health bar just keeps on growing where the music gets really good. There are so many parts of this song that are terrific. I especially love this part right here. After finally defeating both forms of Ganondorf, he swallows his secret stone and turns into his third and final phase, where you battle him in the skies above Hyrule alongside Dragon Zelda. And the music here has got to be one of the greatest final boss themes of all time. You can feel the pure emotion poured into this song, and combined with the stunning imagery, it makes for an incredibly memorable final fight. This fight might not be very difficult, but the pure scale and spectacle alone makes it one of my all-time favorites, and the music is the guiding force that pushes you towards the end. Once the dragon is defeated and Zelda gets her body back, you wake up falling through the sky and have one final thing you need to do: catch Zelda. As you dive through the sky, the main theme of the game plays. As you get closer, it shifts into the main theme of the entire series, and creates possibly my favorite video game moment of all time as you reach out and finally catch Zelda as the music swells. And then there's the final notes saying goodbye as the end credits roll. And those are some of my favorite songs and themes from The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. This game's soundtrack is fantastic, and hearing it all for the first time was a joy. Every Zelda game has great music, but Tears of the Kingdom has a few songs that truly feel like a new level for the series, and I'm sure I'll keep listening to this soundtrack for the rest of my life, as I've done with the previous games. Hopefully you enjoyed this musical journey through Tears of the Kingdom, and maybe you were even able to find a new song that you hadn't stopped to appreciate yet. I'm sure I left out a few great ones myself, so share your favorites from this game or the series as a whole down in the comments. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see ya in the next one.